Happy Monday. It is August 19th. You got Jack McMullen and I am Peter Apple, and welcome to Jack. Get those fingers ready. The weekend roundup, where the two of us are going to go through every series from the past weekend. We got a couple of takeaways. We're going to summarize them all, and it is all brought to you by BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks. Remember, folks, download BetMGM on iOS or Android and use code Just Baseball. Why? You get a first bet offer back up to $1,500 in bonus bets if you lose. So when you download BetMGM, use code Just Baseball, and you place a wager, if it loses, you can get that amount that you put on it up to $1,500 back in bonus bets. And if you win, congratulations, you won a bet. I won the first bet I've had in a while on the Texas Rangers money line, and we're going to break down that series. So make sure to go use that code. But remember, gambling problem, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. Must be 21 or older. Terms and conditions apply. Jack, right before we press the record button, I asked, how was your weekend? And you said, I basically did nothing. And then you followed it up with the fact that you interviewed Bubba Chandler and Thomas Harrington in the Pirates organization. So it had to at least have been a decent weekend.
Yeah, it was a good weekend. Those will be live on the call up, I think, this week. So, stay tuned with that. Also, a couple of notable call ups within organizations. Christian Campbell, the Red Sox, is going to Worcester. Campbell has been one of the better performers in all of minor league baseball this year. And all of a sudden, you got a middle infield in Worcester of Marcelo Meyer and Christian Campbell. And when you ask what's up with Vaughn Grissom, you kind of throw your hands up in the sky. And it's like, I don't know. So did Atlanta get Chris Sale for a guy that's phased out within a year? I don't know. We'll see. I do have one complaint from the weekend, if you'll be so generous to hear it.
Can I quickly interject too? I love your energy right now for the weekend roundup, because I asked, how was your weekend, about those interviews. You go straight to that, and then you go straight to a different call up in the Red Sox organization without even talking about your own weekend.
What did I do? I watched Furiosa again on my iPad. I got in bed at 7:30 on Saturday night. It was awesome. I had a great time.
Awesome. Yeah, that is
So,
awesome.
yeah, I watched Furiosa, and then I watched like the starters get through the late slate. And then I was like, you know what? I think it's time for Betty Bye. Let's do this at 10 o'clock. It was awesome. But my one complaint before we get into this, I somehow stumbled upon, and I never do this because like the only time that I spend on TikTok is on the Just Baseball account. And then Instagram Reels are always like 3 weeks to a month behind TikTok. It's like, you
Not
see
ours. Posted at the same exact time. We're one of the few. Probably not anymore.
Yes, ours. Having said that, the current trends in social media go on TikTok, and then 3 weeks later, they matriculate over to Instagram Reels.
Correct.
I somehow caught something in my X and my Instagram algorithm in real time, and it's the demure thing that everybody's doing. I can't stand it. Like, that's like a curse word to me right now.
Okay, so I'm on social media a lot. I run all of our socials. I had never heard of that. It hadn't come up in my algorithm. And it's so funny that you mention it, because legitimately 30 minutes before we started the show, before I press the record button, my girlfriend is talking about how crazy this new trend is about demure and being classy
Very
or whatever.
mindful, very demure. And I'm like, I don't like this.
But now I'm being hit from both sides, you and her. What am I supposed to do here? Go watch a stupid trend now to understand what the hell both of you are talking about?
I think so. Yeah.
All right, well, let's do the weekend roundup, because we're going to break down every series from this past weekend. But right before we do, I'm rocking my new Just Baseball tee, and I highly recommend everybody go check it out. It's a new line of t-shirts. Of course, I'm rocking my Just Baseball hat, but I just got it in the mail. This is the Yankee one. It's just baseball logos intertwined with everybody's favorite team. So go check that out in the merch store below. So I have 7 series that I summarized. Jack has the last 8. So I'll summarize the series, throw it over to Jack for a takeaway. He'll do the same for his, and then we'll wish everybody a happy Monday. We're going to start in Queens, New York, where the Marlins took on the Mets. And in game one, the Mets won 7-3. Jeff McNeil and Brandon Nimmo led the offense with home runs, and Nimmo's home run actually snapped a 0 for 17 skid. They drove in 5 of the 7 runs. Now, Sean Manaea also wanted to shout at him out. 7 innings, 3 earned, 4 Ks. His ERA is down to 3.46. What a pickup for the Mets this year. And Rodri Munoz had only allowed 1 run to the Mets in 11 innings over 2 starts this season, but his third start, 4 earned in 3 1/3. So the Rodri Munoz over the Mets curse might officially be over. Game 2, Mets win 4-0. This was the Luis Severino show. A complete game shutout for the flame-throwing righty. 9 innings, 4 hits, no earned, 8 strikeouts. Severino's last shutout was on May 2nd, 2018, with the Yankees against the Houston Astros. Both Pete Alonso and Francisco Lindor had home runs in the first 2 innings, and that was that. Game 3, though, the Marlins did not get swept. They win 3-2. Brandon Nimmo hit another home run again in the 6th to give the Mets a 2-1 lead, but the Marlins rally in the 7th, tie it up on a pass ball, then a Derek Hill RBI single ended up being the difference. Now, Valente Beloso, 5 1/3, 2 earned. His ERA goes from 2.28 to 2.45. His ERA went up in that start in 38 innings. He's been a great pitcher for the Marlins so far. And Paul Blackburn turned in a better start. 6 innings, 1 run, 4 Ks. Mets win the series, move to 64-60. Marlins fall to 46-78. We are 6 losses away from locking in the biggest bet of my entire life, which was the Marlins under 78.5 wins.
Valente Belloso, I've been pretty vocal about not really understanding the big league success that he's having at this point. And like, hey, credit to him. He's defying the odds. But I sat here and I watched the Roku game on Sunday morning. And I watched Valente Belloso get through 2, slicing and dicing with 90 right down the middle, and then like a 75 flipped over curveball. And that's what I was watching, man. And I mean, he was getting bailed out and there was some hard contact. And it makes my brain hurt watching Valente Belloso have some success. My big takeaway from this weekend is it feels like Sevy's making himself some money.
Yeah.
And I know it's a 3.91. I know he's had much better years. I know even in 22, he had a 3.18. He wasn't throwing innings like this. This guy's over 140 innings this year. Sevy, assuming no injury, like knock on wood for Luis Severino, because obviously that's been an issue. But if Sevy gives you 165, 170 innings this year, he's 30 years old. He's a young 30 years old. I'm not saying he's an $100 million pitcher, but I think he's earned himself a 3-4 year deal at this point. Like, I seriously think he's making himself some coin.
I 100% agree. And, as a Yankee fan, like Luis Severino coming up was the guy I just latched onto. I thought he was so electric. I thought he was going to be the Yankees' best pitcher for a decade, and injuries just hurt him. And in the last season or so with the Yankees, just kind of fell apart a little bit. So he gets another opportunity with the Mets, and it's still showcasing the fact that he can flash frontline stuff when he's on. Now, when he's off, it doesn't exactly look great, but when we look back at the 2024 season for Luis Severino, I think we're probably going to look at somewhere between the 3.7 to 3.9 ERA, and like you said, 150 to 160 innings. That's a pitcher. And to your point about being a young 30-year-old, he doesn't have as many innings as most 30-year-olds might have to this point when you debut so early in your career. So I'm curious if teams will look at this and say, oh, well, he just had his healthy year. Do we want to pay and risk the seasons where he's not? Or do we say we think that this can continue and we want to give you a 3-year deal? I'm not so sure. Me personally, locking him into ages 31 through 35, scary. It is scary, but regardless, for the Mets, at least this year, I mean, another great pickup. Sean Manaea, another great pickup. Like, got to give a little bit of credit to Stearns, baby. I know that they have the $300 million payroll, but this was a bridge year. This is supposed to be a bridge year. They're not signing the big time free agents, but the guys that they have signed, I think have been very impactful for them.
No, man. And I think like the 1 year, $13 million deal for Luis Severino fell At the time, and I was probably guilty of it too. I don't remember exactly where I stood on it, but didn't that kind of feel like a lot of money for a guy like that? It's like, wow, $13 million over 1 year. Somebody was going to do it. I was like, wow, the Mets are allocating their already tax penalized payroll to Luis Severino. Really?
Here's the thing. I don't think I reacted that way because Frankie Montas got 1 year 16. I think
Yeah.
we do this every time.
He had a
The
mutual option,
money
by the way, I think. Yeah.
the money is way more than we all think every time. Like I always go super super high. You guys tear it down and then it's like higher than what I even said.
Yeah.
It's the market. It's the market.
Congrats on winning the Price is Right.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's go to a slightly more entertaining series. We're going to travel to St. Louis. The Dodgers took on the Cardinals this weekend, and in game one, Dodgers won 7-6, take an early 2-0 lead, highlighted by a Gavin Lux home run, who's been really good for the Dodgers lately. He's even moved up to the 3 hole in some lineups. Not every time, but that's how good Gavin Lux has been. And the Cardinals stole the lead back on home runs from Paul Goldschmidt and Mason Wynn. Now, the Dodgers, they grab the lead and they don't relinquish it on home runs from Andy Pajes, Mookie Betts, and Kevin Kiermaier. And neither Miles Michaelis nor Robleski were very effective. We move to game two where the Cardinals win 5-2. Cardinals snap 5-game losing streak led again by home runs from Mason Wynn, who has been fantastic for them, the young shortstop, Alec Burleson, and it's good to see Nolan Arenado hitting a home run. Ohtani hit his 38th, but it just wasn't enough. And Bobby Miller's return, not great. 4 2/3, 4 earned. But Andre Palante was great. 7 innings, 2 earned, ERA down to 4.07. The converted reliever has been very solid in the Cardinals rotation. Game three, Dodgers win 2-1 in the rubber match. Shohei Ohtani hits his 39th home run to lead National League. Lars Nootbaar hit a home run as well. And the difference was a Miguel Rojas RBI single. Classic vintage Clayton Kershaw, 6 innings, no runs allowed, ERA down to 2.63. And Sonny Gray was fine. 5 innings, 2 earned, 6 Ks, ERA to 3.91. Dodgers win the series, move to 73-52. Cardinals fall to 61-63.
Getting 3 total runs in a Clayton Kershaw versus Sonny Gray game is all I wanted. I just wanted a low scoring affair. And like, you can call it a pitcher's duel if you want. Gray was battling, Kershaw was cruising. Gray was still effective enough, and Kershaw was flat out awesome. Mason Wynn has been a godsend for this Cardinals lineup. I feel very strongly about that.
Injection of youth. And I know Alec Burleson has been great too, but when we were at the NL Central Stadium tour, we were sitting next to a bunch of Cardinals fans. And I was like, who's your guys' favorite player right now? There's 4 of them sitting next to each other. All 4 said Mason Wynn.
Yeah.
He's electrified this team, which is so much fun because the Cardinals, I think they're used to seeing these 35-year-old pitchers or Goldschmidt or Arenado. And I know Wilson Contreras has been good for them this year, but there's so much age on this team. So to see guys like Nootbaar and Burleson and especially Mason Wynn, it's got to make Cardinals fans at least look into the future and say, all right, we're not a bunch of old bags here.
I think the thing that is most exciting about Mason Wynn is that he's set a very high baseline for himself too, where like it's not when you think exciting players, you think, okay, the dips are going to be really bad and the peaks are going to be awesome. I think about exciting players around, and they're the type that make you want to pull your hair out when they're not right, but have you doing backflips when they're right. Mason Wynn is better than that because his like bad game is not an atrocious game by any stretch. This guy's super talented. He's set like a bedrock of production, and then everything else is bonus there.
I love that point that you brought up because there's another shortstop in this division, O'Neal Cruz, where his highs are you just sit back.
This guy's going to win an MVP. Yeah.
This guy's the greatest thing I've ever seen. His lows, I mean, we got to move him off shortstop. He can't hit anything. We send him back down to the minor leagues. And he looks like a much more exciting player. He looks like talent compared to Mason Wynn, who is obviously a good player, but just looking at him on the field, like at Busch Stadium, you don't think, whoa, he's not Ellie De La Cruz. But I'd way rather have Mason Wynn than O'Neal Cruz.
Yeah, no, I mean, you have to appreciate Mason Wynn, not only over 3 hours in a given night, but I think if you went to, all 3 games in a weekend set, you're going to walk away saying, that Wynn kid is damn good.
Yeah,
like, he's just going to be good for a long time. I think that's my main takeaway with Mason Wynn.
And you love the high floor too, because the defense is always going to be fantastic. And then whenever he hits, it's just gravy. And I think he's going to hit for a long time. All right, let's go to the Twins took on the Rangers in a 4-game set. Game 1, Twins win 3-2. Willie Castro highlighted the Twins offense with a home run, but it was a tie game of the ninth. But Carlos Santana, and I saw a tweet from Jolly Olive where he goes, Carlos Santana just hits clutch home runs and walks 15% of the time with a new team every year. And he came up clutch again here with a sac fly in the ninth. And that ended up being the winning run. Bailey Ober, again, 6 innings, 2 earned. His ERA is down to 3.49. Has been one of the best pitchers in all of baseball over the last couple of months. And Cody Bradford has been pretty damn solid for the Rangers. 6 innings, 2 earned. ERA to 3.50 for the young left-hander. But the Twins win. And they won again in game 2, this time 4-3. Ryan Jeffers and Carlos Santana, those homers were enough. But Marcus Semien homered, but it wasn't enough. Simeon Woods Richardson, fine. 5 innings, 2 earned, ERA to 3.77. Andrew Heaney, not fine. 4 1/3, 4 earned. He did have 8 Ks, and his ERA is to 4.20. Game 3, Twins win 5-2. Rangers had a 2-1 lead going into the 8th. The first 3 games were very similar, but Trevor Larnach did hit a home run for the Twins. 3-run single by Willie Castro, scoring 2 on a throwing error from Leody Taveras. Kyle Farmer also hit a sac fly for insurance. David Festa, decent. 5 innings, 2 earned. Eovaldi, decent. 7 innings, 3 earned. ERA to 3.76. Now, game 4, arguably the game of Sunday. Rangers win 6-5 in 10 innings. Twins got off to a hot start. 4 runs in the first 3 innings, highlighted by a Ryan Jeffers home run, and he had an RBI single. Rangers score 5 in the 7th, highlighted by home runs from Adolis Garcia and Josh Young. Carlos Santana, though, said this game ain't over. Homered in the 9th to tie it. Josh Young, though, walks it off with an infield dribbler to third, forced a wide throw. Santana tries to tag Josh Young, bounces off his back. Adolis Garcia scores for the win. Pablo Lopez was great, though. 6 innings, 0 earned runs. His ERA is down to 4.47. But the Twins win the series and move to 70-54. Rangers fall to 57-68. One thing that I just wanted to note as well, Tyler Mahle, he did give up 4 earned in that last start, but I don't really care about the stat line. What I care about, velocity down 2 miles an hour on his fastball, down 1.5 miles on all the secondaries as well. Not good. Not good.
No, especially coming off Tommy John recovery.
Yeah. And he looked good in his first 2 starts.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm hoping it was just a little blip on the radar and he wasn't feeling great today, but he would bounce back, 5 days from now. So I'm not going to hit the panic button until it happens again, if it happens again.
Me neither. I just wanted to bring it up.
Yeah.
Keep it on your radar. Hopefully it's a blip and we never mention it again, but I wanted to notice it because he looked objectively, like his arm looked objectively worse.
Bailey Ober in Minnesota, going into his last start, was leading all major league starting pitchers, all qualified major league starting pitchers in ERA over the last 2 months. Great article on justbaseball.com. I don't know why that was hard. Like I say it 10 times a day. I don't know why that was hard for me. Great article on justbaseball.com from Matthew Marasco, highlighting what Bailey Ober has meant to the Minnesota Twins. I also didn't realize that he was in the 99th percentile in off-speed run value. This guy has turned into a dog. And the fact is, man, like, he's not afraid of the strike zone. I know he doesn't throw 100 miles an hour. He's not afraid of giving you good stuff in the strike zone and seeing what you can do. And a testament to him, he's grown into 5x the pitcher I thought he was going to be, and I've officially lost the Bailey Ober Casey Mize thing. Officially lost it.
Never say never.
Mize hit 98 on a rehab in Charlotte, so
Bailey Ober can't throw 98. That's all.
Haven't lost it yet. You're right. I rescind.
Have you noticed this about Bailey Ober? And it makes so much sense that his off-speed run value is that high. When he has commanded the changeup, doesn't matter where he is, when it is, against who, he's carving. He's just gonna carve.
7 innings and 80 pitches.
When the changeup is not there, that's why the ERA is at 3.5, even though he could go on a 2-month stretch at a 1 ERA.
Right.
He's a fascinating pitcher because he's such a big dude, and you would expect a guy like that to throw 97 miles an hour, 98, 99, but no. it's command of these breaking balls, and especially that changeup. So when he's got it, he can dice anybody, and he's had it for the last 2 months.
Yeah.
Next series.
Next series.
Nationals versus Phillies, another 4-game set where Philly really dominated, but they didn't sweep. Game 1, Phillies win 13-3. Weston Wilson cycle. It started off with a strikeout. Then he hit a triple, infield single, home run, and ends it with a double. Phillies also got home runs from Nick Castellanos and Alec Boehm. Trey Turner and Bryce Harper combined to go 5 for 9. And Zach Wheeler was just fantastic. 6 innings, 1 earned, 6 Ks. His ERA goes to 2.72. Mitchell Parker got destroyed. 9 earned in 3 innings, but he did strike out 6, ERA to 4.44.
But he did strike out 9 in 3 innings. I don't care about the strikeouts at that point.
I just think it's amazing when a guy gets destroyed, but all of his outs are strikeouts. Like, he only threw 3 innings.
Great. Yeah, no, the bleeding is kind of stuff. You put a Band-Aid on a samurai gash again.
Pretty big Band-Aid, though. 6 Ks. I mean, strikeout to walk ratio is decent.
No, it's a Finding Nemo Band-Aid, man.
I know. Game 2, Phillies win 3-2, much lower scoring here. They had a 2-0 lead going into the 9th before a Jose Tena RBI single and a Jacob Young fielder's choice that tied it up. But in the bottom of the 9th, Phillies load the bases, and Trey Turner walks it off with an RBI single in the bottom of the 9th. Nola, 6 2/3, 7 hits, but no earned. ERA down to 3.45. Game 3, Phillies win again, 5-1. Alex Call homered in the 4th, and that was it for the Nationals. Phillies scored 5 runs in the 5th. Everybody was involved. But this was the Christopher Sanchez show. Complete game. 2 hits, 1 earned, 4 Ks, ERA down to 3.46, and it was a great bounce back after allowing 7 earned to Arizona in the start before. It was his second complete game of the season since he shut out the Marlins on June 28th. Game 4, though, Nationals salvaged, winning 6-4. Phillies grab a 2-0 lead, highlighted by a Trey Turner home run. Kyber Ruiz, Alex Call, they homer to take the lead. Stott and Marsh for the Phillies homer to tie it up, but then a James Wood homer in the 9th. First pulled ball in the air all season, and that comes to us from Foolish Baseball. And just another note, Trey Turner against his former team in this series goes 10 for 16 with 3 doubles and a home run. Phillies win the series and move to 73-51. Nationals fall to 56-69.
So the pulled fly ball, I can appreciate what he's getting at because that's untapped potential in James Wood. But he's also performing at a very high level before that.
And I think that's what makes the stat so unbelievable, that he's got an OPS over 800 without pulling 1 fly ball yet.
Right. But he was, hitting really hard ground balls. And I'm sure there's some line drive mixed in there to the pull side. He's gone up the gut a lot.
Yeah.
And like this guy.
God, he looks so good. He's 21 years old. He's scary.
He's just scraping the surface of what he's going to be.
Oh, yeah.
And I will say my takeaway from this series, I know that they dropped 3 of 4, but we're getting closer and closer to this team becoming really fun to watch.
Really fun to watch. Like, even CJ Abrams in the last game stole 3 bases, and I need those stolen bases.
That's huge for you.
Yeah.
Huge for you. But I was
still sick. That's still a sick thing that's happening.
Right.
CJ Abrams stealing just tons of bases all the time. Sometimes, actually, not all the time.
I mean, dude, I was watching the front 4 innings of that Nats Phillies game. Like, I went to another game once the Phillies started kind of pouring it on in the 5th, but those front 4, like, I had a hell of a time watching Mackenzie Gore throw, and James Wood made a diving catch, and that Alex Call homer. I'm not saying that Alex Call is going to factor in to the future plans of the Washington Nationals. He could be a good bench 4th outfield type.
He's hitting like 400 this year almost. He is. While you keep talking, I'm gonna look up Alex Call's stats. They're crazy.
My thing is like, okay, shit's getting out of hand for Gore quick. But when he's right, there are very few pitchers that I like watching more than Mackenzie Gore. There's something aesthetic about the way that he can pound the zone and have 96 on a clothesline zip to the lower outside corner against right-handed hitters and like just freeze them, man. His stuff is really good. And if he stops these 4 walk outings and if he stops these snowball innings, we're talking about one of the better young left-handers in the game. And yeah, he's still young. I think he's 24 years old at this point. Like, they have, I think, one of the better young left-handers in the game that is a couple steps away from fully being there and being in that conversation. They have the number one prospect in baseball before he graduated. They have one of the better young shortstops in the game. They have a top 10 prospect in baseball in AAA right now, manning center field. They're getting good and they're getting fun, which is the more important thing.
Even guys like Jake Irvin, Mitchell Parker. You know, there have been guys, DJ Hers. Like these guys have
Hurts.
flashed pretty good stuff in their
Parker and Hers
rotation.
are part of this rotation. I said that a couple of weeks ago, but like they have proven that they're going to be in that 2027 rotation, assuming full health.
Also, Alex Call, by the way, is slashing 356, 434, 552 for a 986 OPS and 99 plate appearances.
How about Mr. Call? Shout out the Ball State Cardinals. Chirp, chirp.
Chirp, chirp. All right, let's go to Diamondbacks versus Rays. We're going to head to the Trop for an awesome series where the Rays swept game one. Rays win 5-4. D-backs took a 2-0 lead, but the Rays battle with the Dylan Carlson home run. Rays take the lead on a 2-run single by Josh Lowe and another Dylan Carlson RBI. Corbin Carroll hit a 2-run home run in the ninth to tie it at 4, and then Brandon Lau walks it off in the ninth with an RBI single. Now, Pepiot looked good in his return, 5 1/3, 5 hits, 0 runs. And Ryan Nelson, I know the Rays won. Brandon Lau's the story. But Ryan Nelson's four-seamer had 20 inches of induced vertical break. That would be the most vertical break of all starting pitchers' fastballs if held through the season. 100th percentile. That comes to us from Nick Pollock from Pitchers List, and it's 2.89 ERA post All-Star break in 37 innings. He is a very exciting pitcher, especially because Gallen has not looked that great. As we go to game two, where the Rays win 6-1, Rays score 4 in 2 innings against Zach Gallen. 4 earned, 5 innings, 9 hits, ERA up to 3.85. He's got a mid-5s ERA in August, and he had a 5.10 ERA in July. Brandon Lau again hit a 2-run home run late. Jeffrey Springs, solid. 5 innings, 1 earned, 7 strikeouts. We get to game 3. Rays win 8-7 in 12 innings. Rays put up 6 runs early, highlighted by another Brandon Lau home run, unfortunately. And this game, tons of injuries. Yandy Diaz left with an injury in the first inning. D-backs rally highlighted by a Corbin Carroll 2-run home run. He's got 10 home runs in the last 29 games and a 3-run home run to tie it by Adrian Del Castillo. D-backs score 1 in the 10th. Rays score 2 in the 10th and win it on a Dylan Carlson walk-off single. And shout out, there's not many of us out there, but those who are the Dylan Carlson believers, I think we got to take our victory lap right now. He's got a 980. Excuse me?
Are you still one of them?
Of course I'm still one of them. I've been a Dylan Carlson guy. How many times have I come on the show and be like, there's that switch hitting outfielder in St. Louis as soon as he gets another opportunity? You haven't noticed that I've been a Dylan Carlson guy forever?
Dude, he's like really not great.
He's got a 980 OPS with the Rays.
Okay.
That's all I got to say. That's why I'm taking my victory lap right now. So again, a couple of more injuries. Pete Fairbanks gave up 3 runs in the ninth after the game, put on the IL, and Ketel Marte limps off. Looks like his ankle still isn't right. Rays sweep, move to 62-61. D-backs fall to 69-56.
Dylan Carlson.
Dylan Carlson.
913 OPS in his first 13 games as a Tampa Bay Ray. What do you think that 913 has his season OPS up to?
Wait, are you sure 913 OPS? I saw 980.
980? Oh,
Yeah.
after a hot Sunday. Okay, you know what? Let me go to his day.
Well, just like look at the month of August where he has been on the Rays.
Yeah, I'm pulling him up here. MLB updates before Baseball Reference does. 920 I've got in a Tampa Bay Rays uniform.
Oh, that's
so
weird.
What do you think that 920 OPS has his season OPS up to?
I don't know if that matters.
It does. It does.
I choose not to answer.
It's up to 618.
Better than
And tell you what,
518.
his 537 slug has his season slug up to 315.
Better than 314.
It's a hell of a lot better than 312, I'll tell you that much.
And he's like the best hitter on the Rays right now. This is a team that is pinch hitting Alex Jackson in the ninth, who's got a 200 OPS.
Yeah, that's brutal.
Brutal.
It's brutal. Absolutely brutal. By the way, it's a 450, but Alex Jackson hitting a $129 at this point.
Quick interjection. Did you see what I posted on Twitter about Christopher Morel?
No.
His ESPN profile, and like even when you search it up,
Oh,
like
he's
search up
5'11", a
Christopher.
buck 45.
It's
Yeah.
just not accurate. Like what was
So
when was he 5'11", 145? When he
when
was
he signed,
16? Yeah,
yeah,
and just
when
he's 25
IFA.
now. You'd think they'd update it.
No, IFA
No.
signings when they take this for these guys. It took Felix Bautista. Felix Bautista, I think, was listed at 170 pounds
I remember
when
that
he
one
was
too.
having his breakout in Baltimore. I was like, this guy's
He's
470
like he's
pounds.
like 280 pounds.
They're
He's
literally
like
calling him the
Zion.
mountain, and he's
Yeah.
listed at a buck 70. That's not true. I think they take him when these guys sign their IFA deals. I thought they would be updated when these guys were added to a 40-man roster, but I guess not. It might just be after your big league debut, but it's been a couple years now for Chris.
25. He's been in the league now for 3
I
years.
don't know where 145 comes from.
Do you have any major takeaways from this series? Good to see the Rays get a sweep. They certainly needed it just to tread water in this American League wildcard race. And the D-backs have been so damn hot that they were almost due for a tough series. Like, go to the Trop. How often are the Diamondbacks going to Tampa Bay to play that team? Just one of those weird series. It was close almost every game. The one thing I do want to point out, though, Zach Allen. I mean, how can we take the Diamondbacks seriously in a playoff series if Zach Allen is looking like this?
Because the offense can get hot, and the offense has been hot.
I know, but you need an ace. Like, you need Gallen up there. And Fod is good. Merrill Kelly has looked decent in his return. Ryan Nelson is looking good, but you need a stud up there, and Gallen's your stud, and we need Gallen to be better than this.
I don't know, man. Like who is the ace for the Texas Rangers last year? They won the World Series. I wouldn't call them
Immediately.
co-aces. There were co-twos in Eovaldi and Jamont, right?
Yeah, but they stood on their head.
Yeah. So who's to say that Gallen can't do that for a month? You know what I mean?
Because Gallen is not pitching well. And then in the playoffs last year, where he had a good season, he didn't look good either.
Thought he looked fine in the postseason.
He looked okay. Like, it wasn't vintage shutdown Gallen. I mean, I remember like one or two starts in Arizona where he's dominated his entire life, but he didn't look great. Like, he wasn't this Wheeler-esque type pitcher, even though the Diamondbacks, of course, beat the Phillies. So, I mean, what do I know? But I don't know. Me personally, when looking at the playoff picture, I love the Diamondbacks. Their offense can bang. Their bullpen is good. They have tons of depth at starting pitching, but I can't feel confident going into series where I don't feel confident in your number one guy.
I think the postseason's weird, and I think if you've
Did you
got a
look up the
guy
stats?
of,
Is that what you did? You look up Gallon stats?
yeah, I mean, like they were good, not great. Like Gallen had a bad LCS, but Zach Gallen, his wild card start, 6 innings, 2 earned. His DS start, 5 1/3, 2 earned. In 11 innings in the CS against Philly, 9 earned in those 11 innings, so that was a dud. And then in the World Series, 11 1/3, 4 earned. So it was good, not
Yeah,
great. He
right.
had a 4.5 on the postseason, but a 3 in the wild card, 3.38 in the DS, 3.18 in the World Series, and like a 7.5 in the CS. So I'd say like overall it was fine. My thing is, you take a guy of Gallen's credentials and you put him at the front of a postseason rotation and ask him to be the guy. Situationally, like I think you can absolutely trust a Zach Gallen, Merrill Kelly, Brandon Fott, Ryan Nelson for some
For
rotation.
Erod and Jamont too. And
For
that's
Erod
what
and Jamont, like I'm factoring Jamont out of it at this point.
the only reason I'm still factoring in Jamont is because I remember from last year him dominating in the playoffs,
That's the
which I
thing,
don't even
man.
know if that's fair because he
But
doesn't look like the same guy.
speaking to your point, it's a tough eat. Like, and again, the postseason's weird. I understand him being on the roster, and if you want to, make a decision and spot start him, great, and you just ride the hot hand if he puts together a good start in the DS and all that. But listen, this offense is really good. It can get really hot in that given month, and that's just what you need. The hot team wins. The best team doesn't win. The hot team wins.
Especially with Corbin Carroll hitting his stride again. No, but
Yeah, you want to talk hot.
reason I bring up Gallen is, on the show I gave out Zach Allen under 194 and a half strikeouts for the season, and a big reason why was he was coming off a season high of like 230 innings after posting a ton of innings in the regular season and then throwing, like you said, tons of innings in the postseason. Like, it's just tough on these guys.
Yeah.
I don't feel confident as Gallen's throwing more innings, if that makes sense. Like, I don't think more innings is going to be better for him. I think it might hurt him.
Yeah, but I also just think that like we don't know him. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like we don't know him
fair.
well enough. We don't know how he ticks. He could absolutely level up this
And I
postseason.
hope he does, because if
Yeah.
he does,
A good
it's
gallon is
alive,
as fun to
baby.
watch as anybody.
Snakes alive. All right,
Yeah.
let's go to Padres versus Rockies. I think this is the most boring series of the weekend, but hey, we're going to go through it. Game one, Rockies win 7-3. There was home runs from Brendan Rodgers. Charlie Blackmon hit one 450 in this economy. That highlighted the Rockies scoring. Padres scored 3 runs off Xander Bogaerts and Ha-Seong Kim home runs. Matt Waldron got destroyed. 7 earned, 5 2/3. Quantrill, classic. 5 innings, 3 earned. 4.59 ERA on the season, pitching in Coors Field, by the way. Game 2, Padres win 8-3. Classic Coors game. Padres had a ton of hits. They had 15, 8 runs. Luis Campusano hit a home run, but they already had a 7-3 lead at that point. Neither Freeland nor Cease pitched very well. I think my dreams of a Dylan Cease Cy Young are getting to the end here. Game 3, Rockies win 3-2. Jacob Stallings' RBI single broke the 1-1 tie in the 6th, and Sam Hilliard forced a run on a groundout. Manny Machado homered in the 8th, but it just wasn't enough. Shout out Bradley Blaylock, 5 2/3, the 23-year-old for the Rockies. 5 2/3, 1 earned, ERA to 2.92. I know it's not in a lot of innings, but he's looked pretty decent. And against the Padres, pretty good. Joe Musgrove has looked pretty solid since his return. 4 1/3, 1 earned. Rockies win the series and move to 46 and 79. Padres fall to 70 and 55. I challenge you to have a takeaway from the series.
Bradley Blaylock. Can you name the trade? It happened this deadline.
Absolutely not.
Nick Mears.
Wow.
Here's the return for Nick Mears with Eugenier Herrera.
Rockies fleece? Mears has looked
Maybe.
pretty good for Milwaukee, though.
Mears has been really good for Milwaukee, which I don't really get because he couldn't find the strike zone to save his life a couple years ago. And now Brewers found it.
Brewers baseball.
Yeah.
Brewers baseball.
We'll talk about it later.
We'll talk about
that's my only thing. It's like, hey, did you know that Bradley Blaylock was in the Nick Mears trade?
What a takeaway. It honestly
Be the Bradley Blaylock trade here soon.
That's the right takeaway. All right, Yankees, Tigers. How about this? You do your 8 series, and then we'll recap Yankees, Tigers at the end, because that includes the Sunday night baseball game as we're recording during the Little League Classic. But before Jack gets into his series, let's take a quick break.
I'm gonna jump in again. Like I just can't get words out tonight. I'm gonna jump in with Seattle and the Pirates here. Game 1 went to the Pirates 5-3. The skid was over at 10 games. Paul Skeens, 6 innings, 4 walks? Question mark, question mark. I actually have the 2 question marks written down. 2 runs, came on a 2-run home run from Luke Raley. Logan Gilbert matched the moment, 6 1/3, 3 earned, but hit 100.2 miles an hour. It was the hardest pitch of his career to this point. Kyle Nicholas, Aroldis Chapman did their job. David Bednar allowed a solo shot to Jorge Polanco, but at the end of the day, Pirates had the lead. They won that one 5-3. Game 2 went to the Pirates again. We call that a winning streak, folks. 7-2 after a 10-game losing streak. It's a 2-game winning streak. IKF had a 3-hit day, including a homer. Rowdy Tellez had a 2-run homer. Jared Triolo with a solo shot. Luis Castillo, 5 1/3, 4 earned. He allowed those 2 homers. Bailey Falter threw into the 6th, 5 2/3, 2 runs, 8 Ks, and no walks. The Domingo Herman experience gave some people some palpitations, maybe. On Saturday, he loaded the bases without recording it out, but David Bednar came on. He got his second save in as many days. Game 3, series finale, went to Seattle 10-3. They led 8-0 through 5. Cal Raleigh with a 2-run homer off Jake Woodford in the first. Josh Rojas, Dom Canzone also homered. Woodford, 4 innings, 9 hits, 7 runs, 5 were earned. Kirby with a pretty good bounce back. 6 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs. He did walk 2, which was kind of weird. But the Pirates take this series 2-1. They're probably still dead in the water at this point. Like you can't bounce back from a 10-game skid this late, I think, and that kind of phased them out of the wild card picture. But tell you what, man, those front 2 games kind of highlighted all these deficiencies that we talk about with Seattle.
And that was my takeaway. The Mariners kind of stink. They
I'm
do.
just not sure about that. Can you say the offense?
No,
No, come on, man.
I'm going to get a little mean for a second. I think the Mariners have an amazing starting rotation. They do. But they can only do so much. And what have I said from the very beginning? And that's why I didn't want to buy into the Mariners again. The 2023, Peter, I bought Mariners everything. And I kind of realized, like, if those guys don't dominate, you're not going to win. The bullpen is not good enough. The offense is definitely not good enough. And what I just don't understand about the Mariners is why can you not beat bad teams? You're 33-33 against teams over 500. Your record is 64-61. That means you're 3 games above 500 against teams that are below 500. That cannot happen. You cannot take the foot off the gas. And the Mariners, like, their pitching staff is great, but if you look at all of their ERAs, you look at all of their splits, all of them have an amazing ERAs at home in the best ballpark for pitchers in baseball by a lot. On the road, it's not quite as good. And that's why they are 37-26 at home and 27-35 on the road. So if they're on the road and one of these pitchers doesn't throw a shutout, they're going to lose that game no matter who they are playing. That is what this Mariners team is. And I'm still waiting for Julio Rodriguez to just drag this offense. Talked about him in the X Factors. We don't got a lot of time left. They just kind of stink. And they're not even that fun of a watch. They aren't. They're like 19th on my top 30 teams to watch right now. Because if I'm not getting titillated by a start from one of these starters, they're just boring. They're not that fun.
That's the thing, because I have a starting pitcher bias. They
And
are
I
top
love these
10
guys,
for me.
but like when they all have 4 ERAs on the road and like a 1.9 ERA at home in the best pitchers park ever, it's almost the Coors effect. All these Coors hitters mash at home and they can't hit on the road. It's a very similar thing for some of these pitchers. Now, I'm not saying that these pitchers are bad by any stretch of the imagination. Obviously not. Like it's one thing to, pitch well in a ballpark. Like they are good starters, obviously.
Yeah.
But think about how bad their team is if you have 5 guys who have ace level potential and you're still just 3 games over 500. That's what I can't wrap my mind around. They
I
have
know.
arguably the best rotation in baseball, and they might not make the playoffs. They're 5 games back of the Royals, and they're 4 games now back of the Astros in this division.
You know what's funny about their home road splits as a team offensively? As a team at home, they're hitting 206 with a 643 OPS. That
Well,
206 team batting average is the worst in baseball by almost 20 points. On the road, it levels up a little bit. 226, their OPS goes up 50 points. That just shows you like these pitchers love throwing in that park. But the offense still like is a 693 OPS offense. It's still below average, significantly below average when you go on the road. Problem is they're one of the worst offenses in baseball, if not the worst offense in all of baseball at home. But they have that good of a staff.
I think they got to do something to this ballpark. I don't know what it is, but Teoscar Hernandez,
Just move to Williamsport.
you saw his splits at T-Mobile as a Mariner versus on the road. If you could pull those up to quantify what I'm talking about right now, because I don't have them truly off the top of my head, but I know it's something like a 211 batting average at home at T-Mobile as a Mariner. On the road, I think he was hitting 280. Don't hold me to that. You'll bring up the stats in a second, but he came out and said like how hard it is to hit there. And it makes sense that all their pitchers absolutely dominate at home. Their offense can't hit water if they fell off a boat. And then on the road, the pitching is not quite as good and the offense isn't good enough to catch up. They're in a tough spot and they just kind of stink. They kind of stink.
79 home games for Teoscar Hernandez, hit 217 with a 643 OPS last year. 81 road games, 295 with an 830 OPS. So the clip went up 70 points. The OPS went up about 100 points, or about 200 points, pardon. 190 points.
I think, didn't he talk about it at the All-Star game? I know he's talked about it. I don't know if it was exactly there, but
yeah,
like, it's almost like, I don't know if the Mariners stink. I just wonder if like the ballpark is screwing them. I don't know. I don't know. But what I do know is that the Mariners are 64-61. They can't beat teams that aren't good, and they can't win on the road. That's not a winning formula for a team. I'm sorry.
Yep. Let's go to Blue Jays Cubs in Chicago. Friday, 120. Best place in baseball. 6-5 Cubs in 10. Seiya Suzuki had a walk-off single in the 10th. Cody Bellinger with a 2-run homer in the first. PCA, Jacob Amaya, Ian Happ, all homered for the Cubs in this one. Toronto rallied for 3 in the 9th off Hector Neris. Brutal. Kyle Hendricks, 5 innings, 1 earned on that solo home run from Leo Jimenez. Yariel Rodriguez, 5 innings, 4 hits, but 3 of the 4 hits left the ballpark. He walked 2. I'm not like convinced that Y-Rod is good, which sucks because I was convinced that he was good before this season.
I figured out that I'm not convinced either way, because it's also not totally his fault. Like in that game, wind was blowing out, one of those classic Wrigley games, and he only gave up a few hits. They just ended up being fly balls and heading out of that ballpark at Wrigley. So sometimes he's good, like when his command can get all over the place, and when he doesn't know where the ball going, he genuinely looks like the worst pitcher I've ever seen.
Yeah,
When he does have command, like
pitches in 3.
exactly, but he can spin off some breaking balls and locate that fastball at the top of the zone, and it looks like it has a lot of induced vertical break. I don't know how many inches it is, but it looks like it's beaming in there. I don't know. I am convinced that I have no idea what to think about Yariel Rodriguez. That's where I'm at with him.
Fair. Game 2 went to the Cubs as well. Another 1-run win. This one only took 9 innings. Ian Happ opened scoring with a solo shot in the first. Michael Busch had a 2-run triple in the bottom of the 5th. Dalton Varsho bunted a run home in the top of the 7th. Addison Barger with a solo homer in the 9th to cut it to 1. But Jorge Lopez got the save. He got 3 punch-outs in the 9th inning. Rain delays cut Justin Steele's start to just 2 scoreless innings, but the Cubs managed to figure it out with their bullpen. Game 3, 1-0 Toronto. Another 1-run win. This time Toronto salvages the series. Shota, 5 innings, 1 run, came on a solo home run from Joey Loperfido. That was the only run of the game. Bowden Francis, the guy that Peter pitched me on in March. 7 shutout innings, 3 hits, 7 Ks, and no walks. Teams were a combined 0 for 13 with runners in scoring position. This was a clunker. You can't tell me that, like, I told you Bowden Francis was really good. He just had a good day.
I thought I was so wrong. Look at me now.
Yeah.
Look at me now. No,
we're back.
Don't say
folks.
that. Don't say one good start. Look at his start before that. Go to the game log right now. Just ponder over.
I'm going to go to the game log, and I'm going to point out the 5 starts before the 2 that you're talking about.
Oh, but none of that matters. Look at the last 2. All I'm saying is Blue Jays pitching lab. Y-Rod and Bowden Francis.
They don't have a lab, man. It might be like a farm, but
no, it's like no, you know what it is? It's like my freshman chemistry class. Shout out Mr. Lynch, one of my favorite teachers. Or was that sophomore chemistry? Regardless, that's the lab that they're dealing with.
It's got a 4.92 ERA on the year, but hey.
Yeah. Did you check out the last start before the last one?
5 innings, 2 earned. Yeah, but like 7 innings, 1 hit. Like, dude.
I'm just saying 12 innings, 2 earned in his last 2. Don't sleep. I'm never wrong. I'm just either early or late.
Got you. Yeah, Christian Javier, you were early.
Early.
Who else? Vladdy, you're early, I guess.
I was late? Early?
We got to talk about the Angels.
Regardless, I'm always right, except when I'm wrong, and just disregard that.
Yeah. Braves Angels in Anaheim. Game 2 goes to the Angels 3-2. A 2 spot in the bottom of the 8th inning. 2 spot in the bottom of the 4th. For the Angels, it came on a 2-run home run from Logan O'Hoppe. The difference was a Mickey Moniak RBI double in the 6th. Spencer Schwellenbach, 5 innings, 8 Ks. Jose Soriano only got through 3 1/3, but Ben Joyce got a 5-out save for the LA Angels. Game 2 in Braves Angels went to Atlanta, 11-3, a bounce back. Back-to-back 3-hit days for Marcell Ozuna. Michael Harris and Ozuna 3-hit days for Atlanta. Nolan Shonowell 3-hit day for the Angels. Ozuna's 36th home run came in the first. Whit Merrifield, Ramon Laureano also homered for Atlanta. Chris Sale, 6 innings, 2 runs, 10 Ks. Season ERA sits at 2.62. Feel like he's separating himself from the pack when it comes to the National League Cy Young Award. Game 3 went to Atlanta 3-1. They get the series win. Charlie Morton, the winner, 5 1/3, 2 hits, 1 run. Jack Kahanowitz, 6 innings, 2 runs, no Ks. He did allow a home run to Ramon Laureano. Raisel Iglesias got his 26th save on the year. Kohanowitz is fine. Morton is going to throw like very, very meaningful games for them at the age of 40. Like Charlie Morton's just always freaking there.
Yes, he is.
And Atlanta gritted and grinded their way to a series win in LA. It sucks that he couldn't sweep. They need a sweep against an inferior team really badly right now, but you take series wins because those things pile up.
And it also sucks that Austin Riley got hit on the hand
This Sunday.
Yeah. I don't know if he's going to be out. Maybe you can look that up while I'm just talking. Like, the Braves have had a tough season. I feel for them. I mean, it's just as soon as you start feeling good about something, something stabs you in the back. I just wanted to bring that up. Like that felt really shitty. Like really shitty timing there for Austin Riley. But my other takeaway is I'm surprised that Ben Joyce hasn't gone viral like Mason Miller has. Ben Joyce, 2.54 ERA in 28 innings. It's weird though. He doesn't have the strikeout stuff, or he's not getting the strikeouts, even though he also throws 103. He's not quite as nasty as Mason Miller, obviously, but he's been extremely effective and he throws 103. I'm just surprised that he hasn't really gone viral much. Like he's on Pitching Ninja occasionally for 103, but I feel like he could be a viral guy.
Yeah, he might be like Jordan Hicks, where the
But even
shape
Jordan
somehow
Hicks,
keeps him
I
in
felt
the
like
zone.
Jordan Hicks was on Pitching Ninja like once every
Okay,
other day.
So how about Gratterall then?
Yeah, but Gratterall is like 102. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing.
No, yeah, that makes sense. No,
He's
I see what you're saying.
Gratterall in the sense that, like, yeah, the Ks don't pile up and he doesn't make people look like total morons, but
Yeah,
at the end of the day, he's still throwing hard as shit.
that's actually a really good comp. I like that. It's soft contact, but it's not a 40% K rate. It's a 21% K rate.
Yeah.
Did you confirm that with Austin Riley? Have we figured out?
Tests didn't even confirm anything with Austin Riley. Apparently, all the X-rays that they ran on him were inconclusive. So Brian Snitker said they're going to handle it in Atlanta today, now that they got back.
That
Inconclusive
sounds
tests on Sundays. On Sunday.
First reaction to hearing that. For me, I just winced.
No, I mean, I'm not going to panic until I know that something's bad.
Okay.
Inconclusive might just mean inconclusive.
But it ain't negative.
Right. You make a nice point.
So
fair rebuttal, Mr. Apple.
I just feel for the Braves. Like this just sucks. Like this, you just keep getting punched in the face from the other side when you finally get Michael Harris going back. You win a series, and then it's just all right.
Yep. It's been that kind of year.
Yeah.
Let's go to Boston. Let's actually go to Baltimore. The Red Sox and the Orioles in Baltimore. Game 1 went to Baltimore 5-1. This was a 4-game set. Gunnar Henderson with a 2-run homer. Cedric Mullins had a solo homer. Both came off Nick Pivetta. Wilyer Abreu homered for the Red Sox. All 3 on Pivetta were off those 2 home runs. Zach Eflin, 6 innings, 1 run, 8 Ks, and no walks. On Friday, Game 2, slugfest, 12-10 Red Sox. It was 4-1 Boston, then a 3-run bottom of the 3rd from Baltimore, then a 4-run top of the 4th from Boston. 3-spot from both in the 7th inning. Devers Yoshida homered off Corbin Burns. David Hamilton and Jarren Duran homered off Craig Kimbrell in the 7th inning. Ramon Urias had 5 RBIs. Yoshida and Devers combined for 5 hits and 7 runs driven in this one. It was a bullpen game for Boston. Corbin Burns got racked. 4 innings, 10 hits, 8 earned runs.
Also,
Saturday,
0 whiffs on the cutter in that start.
Eesh.
Yeesh.
Saturday game 3, 5-1 Boston. So they jump ahead in the series 2-1. Boston had a 2 spot in the 7th, 2 in the 8th to put it away. Rafael Devers a 2-run homer in that 8th inning. Gunnar with a solo shot off Brian Bayo, but that was really it against Bayo. 6 innings, 2 hits, 1 run, 6 Ks. Cade Povich put together the best start of his young career to this point. 6 1/3, 2 runs, 6 Ks, and no walks. But Baltimore got the series split 4-2 on Sunday. Adley Rutschman opened scoring with a solo homer in the 5th. Gunnar with a 2-run shot in the 6th. Common Rob Refsnyder W in the home run. Albert Suarez, though, 6 shutout innings, 6 Ks, no walks. Sir Anthony Dominguez got the save for Baltimore. They take everybody's scraps and they turn them into something good.
Sir Anthony Dominguez. I said on the X Factor episode that I was afraid of Craig Kimbrell in a big moment. And Craig Kimbrell has been terrible for the Orioles.
Yeah.
And that's, again, why I said it. And I had noticed that Sir Anthony Dominguez was pitching in the 9th, doing really well, just doing really well altogether. But I assumed, and that was last week, that Kimbrell would still be the closer, that this was kind of some sort of a they're leaving him be. I don't even know how to explain it, but they're just
through the setup spot. Yeah.
Yes, or something like that. Like they're just they relieved him of the closer duties, but they're going to bring him back at some point. They may not, because Sir Anthony Dominguez has been that good in the closer role. But again, he's another guy where he's pitching really well right now. But I've also seen other Sir Anthony Dominguez outings, but I've also seen him dominate in the playoffs. So still up in the air in the later innings for the Orioles. But my big takeaway, Zach Eflin is so big for this team. So big for this team. You lose Kyle Bradish, Grayson goes down, and this guy has slotted in and is pitched like an ace. Post All-Star break, and all of the better starts have come with the Orioles. But post All-Star break, he's posted a 3 ERA in 36 innings, 34 Ks to just 6 walks. This guy does not walk anybody. He makes you beat him. And he's just a really, really good pitcher. And shout out Albert Suarez. He's been awesome. But when push comes to shove in the playoffs, like it's Eflin's ball game too, I think, at this point. Unless Grayson comes back and just dominates. But I don't really know what's going on with Grayson right now. So to have Eflin there is so, so enormous.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. That was an interesting pickup for Baltimore, but I think it was a sign of things to come when it comes to spending a little bit of money. Because Eflin, again, is going to escalate. But knowing what the situation looks like next year in terms of Baltimore's rotation with no Means, no Bradish, Eflin is a huge veteran presence. And I don't know if Corbin Burns is going to be there next year.
We don't
The
know.
fact that you can have Eflin as like the seasoned vet in that rotation is absolutely humongous for Baltimore. And I think it's going to be money well spent in 2025. And it's proving to be money very well spent in 2024.
I just love him because he doesn't walk a soul. 2.7% walk rate. Like we talk about George Kirby's historic command. Eflin is not far behind. I think he has a lower walk rate than George Kirby does this year.
Eflin's a dog, man. Especially after Kirby's 2 walks over the weekend. Come on, what are we doing here?
That's why I can't buy into the Mariners. If Kirby has multiple walks,
They have to be better than that.
have to be better.
Have to. Let's go to utter mutilation in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Kansas City with the sweep of the Reds, 28-3. The Royals outscored the Cincinnati Reds this weekend. Before I do the game by game breakdown, I saw a couple people shoot me a note. Was like, I don't really understand the Reds doubt, thing like that. Because we kind of had a conversation last week about that. And it's like, yeah, I'm just kind of doubting the Reds' ability here.
And I was on the other side. I really believed in them. And they cannot put together back-to-back good series in a row. I thought I was so smart. Look at them rolling through the Cardinals.
I'm not taking a victory lap here right now, but I'm just saying this should kind of help you realize where the deficiencies are.
And then Hunter Green just goes down with an elbow thing.
Which sucks. Which would be the worst thing in the freaking world. And that would make me hate this.
And that was, and I'm sure you saw those posts going viral on Twitter, all the guys with high velo this year. Hunter Green was the last one.
Top 10 in qualified starters last year in average fastball velocity are all hurt.
All of them.
Every single one.
Yep.
And if you thought it was a mechanical thing, it might just be velo, folks. But the thing is, velo is how you get paid. Velo is how you win Cy Youngs, folks. Um, we'll go through the game by game here. Game one, 7-1 Kansas City. Bobby Witt Jr., 3 hits. Vinny Pasquantino to multi-hit, 3 RBI day. Vinny had a 3-run homer in the ninth. Bobby Witt Jr.'s 25th homer of the year was a solo shot. Michael Lorenzen, pretty good start here for Kansas City. 5 2/3, 2 hits, and 1 run. Kansas City blew it open with a 4-run top of the ninth. Game two, the Dairon Blanco game. 13-1 City, the winner. They led 13-0 after 5 in the 9 hole. Blanco was 3 for 5 with 2 homers, including a grand slam. He drove in 7. Nick Lodolo, 2 1/3, 8 hits, 8 earned runs on Lodolo's book. Michael Wacha, 6 shutout and 9 Ks. Game three, 8-1 Kansas City. Guess what Dairon Blanco did? Multi-hit, home run for Mr. Blanco. 4 spot in the top of the ninth to put it away. Vinny Pasquantino had 3 RBIs. Mike Massey went 3 for 4. Brady Singer, 6 shutout, K'd 6. Lucas Urseg, good pickup for Kansas City in that pen, man, with 5 years of control. 5 outs, 1 hit, 4 Ks. He's big in that setup role for them.
Oh yeah. You go through all the games because I have a takeaway.
Yeah.
I think outside of Shohei Ohtani, Bobby Witt Jr. might be the most talented player in Major League Baseball right now.
Yeah, I don't think that's a bad take.
The reason I say that is when we're looking at the 5 tools: hit, power, run, glove, and arm. He's in the 100th percentile of sprint speed. He's in the 100th percentile in outs above average. He's in the 77th percentile in arm strength. He's in the 92nd percentile in hard hit rate. This guy hits the ball as hard as anybody in Major League Baseball. He is hitting 350, 400. He is slugging 617 as a 24-year-old shortstop for an OPS over 1,000, 25 homers, 25 steals. I don't know what Bobby Witt Jr. cannot do. And I just gave you all the numbers. Turn on the TV and watch a Royals game. This guy makes an impact on every single level of the field. You cannot let him get to first base because he's going to steal second. You cannot throw him pretty much anything in the zone at this point because he hits literal piss missiles. And you cannot hit the ball anywhere to shortstop because the dude gobbles it up. And if it's in the hole, he's rifling a ball over to first. When I'm talking about pure talent, there might not be anybody better than Bobby Witt Jr., of course, except Shohei Ohtani because he hits and he pitches and he's really fast. But outside of him, Bobby Witt Jr. might be the most talented player in the game right now.
There's a deficiency in pretty much everybody else's game. Everybody else.
Right?
There's something. And like Bobby Witt's an 80 grade runner, Aaron Judge is not. If that is Aaron Judge's deficiency, then so be it.
And I was going to say too, okay, Bobby Witt Jr., maybe his inefficiency might be he chases more often than the average hitter. He's in the 24th percentile in chase rate. It's not resulting in strikeouts. He has a 15% K rate. And you can say, well, Bobby Witt Jr., he doesn't walk enough. I agree until this year where he's got a 7% walk rate. It's around league average. There's nothing this man can't do.
I don't want to watch him walk.
No.
I have no interest in watching.
You know what? I do want to watch him walk so he can steal second. Turns it into a double. That's the only reason to watch him walk.
Like, I like when he hits triples better. Like, that's more fun for me.
But why the hell would you pitch to him ever?
I don't know. It's a great question.
I'd walk him more.
Probably because that Royals lineup is getting a little bit better.
It is getting a little bit better. I mean, Vinny looks good.
Yeah. And you got Vinny hitting behind Bobby Witt. That's why you would pitch to Bobby Witt.
Yeah, Michael Massey looks pretty good too at the top of the lineup.
Yeah.
Michael Garcia, you don't like him, I do, sort of. No, it's not a lineup stacked with a ton of talent, but they fucking put up runs.
They put up better, runs. Man.
They're a good team. They are.
They're gonna get better. All right, let's go to Houston. This was, kind of a clunker of a series, but it's Grady Sizemore South Side now. The White Sox took game 1, 5-4. Anderson got the win for the White Sox. I will Venmo you $4 if you can tell me Anderson's first name in the White Sox bullpen.
You can keep your $4.
It's Justin Anderson, and it's not the former 2-3 kind of guard forward combo at Virginia that might have won ACC Player of the Year. I don't remember,
You're
but
such a weirdo. That's who you come up with?
Justin
Did
Anderson,
anyone
that's
think did anyone think, "Oh shoot, is it the Virginia 2-3 guy?"
no, like you know who I'm talking about. Justin Anderson. He was
No.
he was there right before Malcolm Brogdon and London Parentes was there. Like the
You're deep
first
in your
Tony
bag.
Bennett guy.
You're
I'm
deep in your
deep in my
bag.
bag.
I'm not that deep.
Somebody listening is fully aware of who Justin Anderson is, and I would like you to pop into the YouTube comments and be like, I remember Justin Anderson. I remember he was a dog. But this Justin Anderson had a 5.5 ERA in 2019 with the LA Angels, and that was his last time in Major League Baseball. And he just got the win for the White Sox in Houston
Okay.
on Friday. Garrett Crochet, 4 innings, 1 run, 9 Ks, 55 pitches. They're clearly limiting him. Spencer Arrighetti, 5 2/3, 4 earned. Luis Robert homered twice off Arrighetti. He drove in 4 of the 5 Sox runs. So literally the only way that the White Sox can win a game is if Garrett Crochet starts and Luis Robert drives in 80% of the run total. Game 2, the Astros won 6-1.
Okay.
Jose Altuve drove in 2, stole a base. Hunter Brown was good. 7 innings, 4 hits, 1 run. He K'd 6. Game 3, 2-0 win for the Houston Astros. Get another shutout loss for the Chicago White Sox. 2 solo homers from Yainer Diaz and Jose Altuve. Kai Busch, 6 innings, 1 run. He was pretty good. And the ERA, I think, is under 3 at this point in his major league career. Framber Valdez, 7 innings, 3 hits, no runs, and 9 Ks. Brian Abreu, hold people, stand up. Josh Hader with a save. Both of them 1, 2, 3 innings with 2 Ks, both through 11 pitches in their innings. It was just domination. Do you have a takeaway from Astros White Sox?
Not really, but more of a question.
Okay.
Do we start just putting it into the back of our mind? Not even fully saying it out loud, just in the back of our mind. Framber Cy Young?
No, I don't think you can do that.
3.20 ERA in 137 innings?
You seen what that guy Scooble's doing?
That's a good point.
He's kind of running away with this thing.
Yeah, that's a good point. He's got like a 2.5. He's so
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
But the reason, remember, we don't have to say it out loud. This is not something that we're saying as a take. This is something I just wanted to put in the back of everybody's mind because we know Framber. When he's locating with that sinker and the curveball's working off it, nobody can touch him. And when he's on like that, he just goes 7, 8, 9 innings. And you're like, well, Peter was against the White Sox. Dude, there was no hitters against any team. Like, it doesn't matter. If he is on, you are not going to hit him. So if he keeps putting up these type of starts for the rest of the year, I'm not saying he's going to win it, but could he finish second with Corbin Burns struggling a little bit? I don't think it's going to be Gilbert. I don't think it's going to be Kirby, especially after that 11 earned run.
But Lugo.
Could be Lugo too, but he's been struggling lately. I'm just saying. Just put it in the back of your head. You don't even got to think about it much. Just start putting it back there. Let it hang out.
I'll think about
Let it fester. Let it hit the jacuzzi.
I'll think about it.
Yeah.
I will get this out of the way here. I'm getting closer to issuing an apology to the Milwaukee Brewers starting rotation, but
Not quite yet, though, right?
I'm not there yet. I'm not there. Give me like 2-3 more weeks, okay? I'm not there yet.
You're like, I'm close, but I still hate him.
Milwaukee sweeps, and they allow 4 runs in 3 games. Damn
I
it.
think you got to just hold your L at this point. I mean, look at what they're doing. They just beat
I'm
the
not
Cleveland
doing
freaking Guardians.
I'm not doing it yet. I'm not doing it. Game 1, 5-3 Milwaukee. Willie Adames with a 3-run shot in the first off Gavin Williams. Cleveland with 3 in the 8th to make it interesting, thanks to homers from Jose Ramirez and David Fry. Jackson Chorio, Joey Ortiz both tripled in this one, which was kind of cool. Just a fun little quirk. Gavin Williams struggled. 4 innings, 5 earned. Aaron Savali, 6 shutout innings for Mr. Savali. Joel Payam's got the save. Game 2, 2-1 Milwaukee. Solo homers from William Contreras and Josh Naylor. Tanner Bybee, 5 innings, a 1-run ball. He K'd 7, 1 earned, I should say, 2 runs in total against him. Freddie Peralta, 6 innings, 1 run against him. Gary Sanchez had an RBI double that was the difference. Payamps, Koenig, Devin, 3 perfect out of the bullpen. 9 up, 9 down after 6 from Freddie. Game 3, 2-0 Milwaukee. Colin Ray.
Say his name.
Colin
They're
Ray.
like Breaking Bad. Say my name.
Colin Ray. 7 innings, 2 hits, no runs, 5 Ks, no walks.
You hear that, Brewers Nation? We're live. We're here.
Brian Hudson and Jared Koenig, 2 perfect innings out of the pen on the heels of Ray. Only extra base hit was a triple from Bryce Terang. That was the only extra base hit for either side. Time of the game, 2 hours and 7 minutes. I'm getting closer. I'm getting closer. Don't get that twisted.
I wish you would have just allowed it to happen earlier in the year, because I have fallen in love with this Brewers team during the regular season, at least. Like, this is baseball that is so hard to comprehend. And because you won't give their rotation flowers, I will. Colin freaking Ray has thrown 135 innings this year to a 3.52 ERA. No, he's not a big strikeout guy. He's got 108 strikeouts. Yeah, his expected ERA might be in the fives. He doesn't give a shit. I don't give a shit. Brewers fans don't give a shit. And other teams, I mean, we're still waiting for those X stats to kick in. Colin Ray's an absolute stud. How about Tobias Myers? How about it? 2.81 ERA in 99 innings of work for the 26-year-old right-hander. And Freddie Peralta, it's funny, he has not been great, but he's still good. He's still got 162 strikeouts on 137 innings at a 4 ERA. And Montes and Savali, like, the offense will just hit when they pitch, and they just keep winning and winning and winning. And this Brewers team is so much freaking fun. I love them.
They didn't need to hit for Savali on Friday. He went 6 shutout. That's harder for me to stomach than Colin Ray. Savali's way harder for me to stomach. I think in terms of acceptability for this Brewers rotation, Freddie won, right?
No. Ray.
No, Freddie won.
Say my name.
Tobias Myers 2.
Colin Ray.
Frankie 3.
No.
Ray 4. About 100 feet, Savali 5.
I mean, Savali's just going to keep kicking you in the nuts.
Dude,
thing why you hate Savali,
Japan right now. Like, we're getting there.
the thing is why you hate Savali is he's kind of shaped like a pear. He's kind of shaped like a 4th grade math teacher. But the dude shoves. What can we say?
That's not. You said it, not me.
I mean, I'm shaped like a pear. Pear guys stand up. I don't care. I'm not afraid to say it either. But the thing is, I'm just sitting my fat ass on a chair and talking about him. He's out here going 6 shutty, making millions of dollars. Shout out Aaron Savali. Pear brothers, stand up.
Okay, 2 more series here. You have Yankees Tigers to wrap us up, but I've got a 2-game set. Giants A's battle for the Bay. Oakland took game 1. The Bay is theirs for the next month and a half until they go to Sacktown.
Yeah, you know what was sad? I was watching the end of that game because Ryan Walker is such a monster. Like, he was so sick in that last inning. They probably said that's the last time the Giants are going to play at the Coliseum ever again. And I was like, damn, that really fucking sucks.
Yeah.
That really, really, that hit me hard for whatever reason. I don't know why. I was like, damn. And I took a step back for a second because I grew up at A's games. I'm from Santa Barbara, California. I went with my dad all the time. We'd take that trip up from Santa Barbara to Oakland, be like an 8-hour trip. My first game ever was at the Coliseum, and we left early because I was tired because I was a little bitch 9-year-old. And as we're walking out of the stadium, the crowd goes nuts because A-Rod just took the lead on a grand slam, and that half that stadium was Yankee fans at the time too, just for that specific game. And I said, Dad, I'm never leaving a game early ever again. And he said, yep, that's what you get. And I've just made so many trips up there. The fans have been awesome. I've caught foul balls. I've gotten balls from, players on the field. Like, that really hit me. That really sucked.
Yeah. It's the end of an era.
End of an era.
It's the end of A's baseball as we know it. But Game one went to Oakland 2-0. Osvaldo Bido, the man.
He is
6
kind of the
innings.
man. He's kind of the
Former-
man.
I think he spent parts of 4 seasons in an Indianapolis Indians uniform. Bido, kind of the
Emerging
man.
ace.
6 innings, 1 hit, no runs, Cade 6. Hayden Birdsong, 4 2/3, 1 run. Seth Brown was 3 for 3. Grant McCray had a multi-hit day at his second career game. Shout out to you, Mr. Grant McCray. 4-2 in 10. Giants get the win in extras with a 3 spot in the top of the 10th. They went to 10, tied at 1. Elliot Ramos homered, Gerard Encarnacion homered, Michael Conforto homered as well. Encarnacion and Conforto both in the 10th. Miguel Andujar drove in the lone run for Oakland. These two, I mean, like Oakland was 2 for 9 with runners in scoring position. San Francisco 1 for 4 with runners in scoring position. Blake Snell, 7 innings, 1 run, 10 Ks. Look at him. Look at him. JP Sears, 7 2/3, 1 run, 9 Ks. Wow. Ryan Walker, 2 innings, no earned runs, 5 Ks.
Dude, so
He's
good.
a dog.
He's such a dog.
He's a
JP
dog.
Sears in the Frankie Montas trade. Like the only one who stuck really with them. And he's looked great. No, but that was my big takeaway. I kind of already gave it away. Sad that really hit me.
Yeah.
I haven't been hit like that, like sad like that in a little while. I mean, I know why, but I didn't expect that to happen. And I feel for A's fans because I'm not even an A's fan, but that stadium will always hold, something in my heart, as cliche as it sounds, but it does. So I feel for you, A's fans. You don't deserve this at all. Fuck you, John Fisher.
Wrap us up, baby.
Yankees, Tigers. The Yankees win game 1, 3-0. Oswald Peraza, first home run of the season in his first game since being called up to play a little third base. He's going to play a little bit against lefties. Aaron Judge hit his 44th home run of the year, 431 feet to center field. Jace Young, debut, 0 for 2, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts. He was also caught stealing. Trey Sweeney, his debut against his former team, 1 for 3 with an infield single for his first hit. And Garrett Cole was great, and he's been great. 6 innings, 4 hits, no earned, 8 Ks, ERA down to 4.15. Only 3 runs allowed in his last 3 starts over 17 innings. Vintage Cole, 1.59 ERA in those starts. We move to game 2. Tigers blank the Yankees. All 4 Tigers runs scored in the first 2 innings on RBIs from Colt Keith, Zach McKinstry, and Andy Ibanez. Now, Cutter Montero, he was great. 5 innings, 2 hits, 5 Ks. Chase Young got his first career hit and went 2 for 4 in that game. Spencer Torkelson back up and went 2 for 3. Rodon was not good. 3 1/3, 7 hits, 4 earned run, ERA to 4.34. And now I will do the classic. Let's check the score of the Little League Classic. And the Yankees are up 1-0. And it's on a Gleyber Torres. He scored on a wild pitch. That is the only run so far. Marcus Stroman has been shoving 6 innings, 4 hits, 5 Ks. And Scooble's doing his classic, you can't touch shit. Even though he has 4 walks,
4.
he's only given up 1 earned. And of course, that looks to be on a wild pitch anyway. And his ERA is down to 2.49. I didn't really.
Fromber Cy Young's going to be awesome, man.
I kind of forgot about Scooble. Perfectly. And I have a Scooble Cy Young ticket.
I appreciate the transparency. Yeah, it's just that over.
Yeah, I know it is. I didn't have a ton of takeaways from this other than seeing Garrett Cole look like vintage Cole again has been so good for the Yankees. But then on the flip side, you see Carlos Rodon just shit the bed. Judge is just amazing. I didn't really have a ton of takeaways. Did you?
No, I think the Tigers lineup is getting more fun.
Mhm.
And like it was just kind of deja vu from the time watching the Toledo Mud Hens. But like when I see a lineup with Parker Meadows and Riley Green and Kerry Carpenter and Torque and Jace Young and Trey Sweeney, like Sweeney has been hitting the shit out of the ball.
And don't forget Justin Henry Malloy either.
Yeah, like Malloy got the night off, dude, and like Colt Keith. I mean, they're getting like pretty darn enjoyable. And again, there's more on the way. And I know Clark and McGonigal are pretty far off, and you just drafted Rayner, but like, dude, there's enough to be excited for here. How Yu Lee is going to factor in at some point, and is it going to be the best offense in baseball? No. At the is it going to be more enjoyable than what we've watched in the front half of this year? Yeah, no doubt.
100%. So that'll do it for the weekend roundup. Hopefully, everybody enjoyed the breakdown of the series that were over this past weekend. And if you did, can you please rate and review? 5 stars, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and a written review would be greatly appreciated. It's the best way to support the show without spending a dime. And if you're watching this on YouTube, hit that big red subscribe button and drop some of your takeaways from the weekend roundup. Again, go check out the new merch. I'm rocking my shirt. Of course, I got the Just Baseball hat on. Jack hates the company, so he's not wearing any Just Baseball merch. But also, shout out Chinook Seedery. We do love their seeds, so we'll give them a pass there. But make sure to go get your Just Baseball merch in the episode description. For Jack McMullen, I am Peter Apple. Of course, we're going to see you tomorrow. And with that, thank you, everybody.